Hello, my pets, and welcome into The Dungeon, the podcast for submissives to learn, grow, be entertained, and ultimately find empowerment in their lifestyle. I'm your host, Kat Nash, the Music City Dominatrix, and joining me today on the show is Chaos Sprinkle, a submissive who is sharing her experience about high protocol events. Now, if you've listened to some of my previous episodes, you've heard me rave about the high protocol event that I went to and how amazing it was. And now you get to hear about it from the submissive's standpoint. So let's welcome Chaos Sprinkle to the show. What was your preparation before going to it?
There was a dress code because it was a masquerade theme of the high protocol. The mask prep was the biggest thing because the clothing part was easy enough. For this event, the D type selected what the S type would wear. So in my case, that was Miss Christine, who I ended up serving directly. I started out the event as you're invited and I have something for you. I don't know what position you're going to do yet. To I was going to be a helper in the kitchen staff to, okay, well, now I actually need a floater submissive to 2 days before the event. Hey, so change of plans. I actually need you to serve me directly. Can you do that? And I'm like, like, because I'm not going to say no. So let me have a moment of panic for a minute and just breathe this out for a second in my car while I figure it out. But like, because of course I'm going to say yes, but like, oh, 2 days before? Hold on.
Yeah.
You mean people are going to be really watching me now? Like, that was a lot of fun and a whirlwind of going from I just had my first ever high protocol experience to
Diving into, and Miss Christine is like, yeah,
right?
she can be
And
intimidating, and she's like the high protocol queen, really. So yeah, and you're serving her
yes.
directly.
Oh,
The
right.
anxiety. I have anxiety for you now, just thinking about it.
Thank you.
But you did well then. I'm
Yes,
assuming.
I
Yeah.
did actually. It's something. It's very funny. It's for me. High protocol has an interest for a number of reasons. I really enjoy rules and pleasing, and it checks all those boxes. I love an SOP. Oh, I know exactly what to do here because you told me.
What is an SOP?
Standard operating procedure.
Okay.
So sorry, that's
No,
that
that's good. I should
retail.
know that too. Also. Like I could use that.
Yeah, and give me an SOP every day of the week. My mother always did events. A function was a function. Like you didn't just, I mean, yeah, we would get together, but you didn't just get together. No, you were like scrubbing the baseboards. Everything was clean beforehand. You like, there was
Wow.
a prep, there was an organization, there was a theme. You had not those napkins, the green ones. Nope, you don't fold them that way. You fold them this way.
High standards.
Yes,
Yeah.
the best example I can give is I'm the type of person that if you give me a task like, hey, I need you to cut these lemons, that may be all that you asked me to do, but I'm not just going to cut the lemons. I'm going to remove any stickers. I'm going to wash them first because I don't know who's touched these. Ugh. Like,
Oh, for real.
and then I'm also going to take into account what they're being used for. Are they decorative? Do they need to be cut a certain way so they sit on the rim of a glass? Are they going into a flute glass like that's a little slimmer? Do I need to cut them into like quarters instead so they fit better? Or
Very
what are
detail
they what are
oriented.
they, exactly, what are they being used for? Then you deseed them after you cut them because I'm not trying to kill your guest. That's not what I'm here for. They go into a bowl with a serving utensil because I cleaned them. Don't put your dirty hands on them. I don't know where your hands been. I know where this tongue has been or this fork or whatever.
Yeah.
All you asked was for the lemons to be cut. I'm doing 18
I
other
love
things.
that. I love that. That's beautiful. For as a
Yeah.
dom, like especially like considering a submissive, that's what you'd want. Not somebody who just sloppily or lazily does a job, but somebody who puts care and thought into it and consideration. That's rare.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Anytime there's a preference, I guarantee you someone has one.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it may be the same as yours, but they have one. I will never forget the first time I serviced Miss Christine's drink. And I asked her, I was like, how much ice do you like in your cup? She was like, oh, no one's ever, she's like, I've always had to tell people. She's like, no one's ever asked me before. And I'm like, no, I know for a fact ice is something people have a preference about.
Yeah.
Like,
How considerate. That's super
like,
considerate. Yeah, most
and,
people don't.
and to me, that's just a basic, I'm fixing your drink. I'm going to put ice in it. Or do you even want ice? Some people
Yeah.
don't even want ice. I don't want to make assumptions.
Yeah.
Not about something that's
A personal preference. Yeah.
yes. That's how I show my care. So the more that like we get closer, I notice things. I'm very observant.
And now, do you think this is something that's just innate in you or something that you've developed or learned?
I think it's a little of both, to be honest with you. Growing up, I had a very like rigid
Yeah.
household. Very much things have a place. Yeah, some of it is definitely just, I think it's part of just my personality. And some of it is just also learned and understanding some of that experience of, having conversations with others. Like I get like the ice thing. I know for a fact that's the thing because I tend to like less ice than most people. And people are like, really? Just drink it hot. And I'm like, it's different. Don't order down my drink. Calm down. Like
It's a personal preference.
so
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
it's things like that that have like
All compounded into. So
mhm.
do you think it could be learned from somebody who is pretty careless?
I think as far as if you plan and you're planning for something specific, yes. I think in your general reaction, probably not, because some of that is innate. And and like you just have to truly have that like empathy and care and like
Yeah.
and I do, not to toot my own horn, I naturally tend to be more, I tend to also be good at picking up on people's feelings and why they're doing things, as long as I know them well enough, of course. And I think you can learn that, especially in a dynamic, like with someone, you're learning that person and it becomes a natural thing. Like now when I fix Miss Christine's, I don't ask her how much ice, I already know.
And I think that's a really good point too, is like when you do get in a dynamic, the goal should not be like performing as a submissive. Like you think submissive should perform or be, but really the goal is to get to know your dominant. That's really the key to being a good submissive then, isn't it? Like
Yes.
to observe, to get to know them, to ask the questions, and to learn them personally. That's a big one.
I digress. The high protocol.
Okay, so high protocol. Okay, so your preparation, and then you showed up early that day because the event wasn't
Yes,
until the afternoon, right?
correct. The dinner did not officially start until 7 p.m.
Yeah.
The S types that were officially serving D types needed to be there 2:30, something like that, somewhere in that ballpark. And that was so that one, we could all meet. Sometimes you're meeting people for the first time. You're like, hello, this is my name. So it gives us a chance to kind of get to know each other and come together and kind of build a little baseline of camaraderie before we're working together in
Just sit around.
silence
Oh,
later.
yeah. Gotta work well together. Do you just sit around and chat, or is there?
That's part of it. Miss Christine's really great so she's there, of course, to start and host us and greet us and go through the procedures. And she's really great at getting us to go through and like stating our name, who we're serving, how many events we've done, kind of our experience. And then we kind of jump in from there. We're going through the process of this is where you're going to be standing. This is how we're going to do this. This is how you're going to serve this plate. When I ding this chime, this is what's going to happen. This is who you're going to look at. Remember, these are the rules. Like,
Yeah.
so
is Miss Christine the one who is teaching you guys that? Because that's like
yes,
a class, essentially. You're like taking a class by her on how to perform or how to behave that evening.
correct.
Yeah.
Now, I will say she's really great too that she sends this out beforehand. So we really had a pretty good idea of like no eye contact, no speaking to a D type directly without being asked or spoken to first, unless you're needing to like I need to ask my D type something. So, but I wait for it to be acknowledged until I speak. So she goes through that, and then we go through a physical walkthrough of how we're going to line up, how we're going to enter and leave the space so that it's uniformed and that we're following a path. And that way because we line up nicely before entering the room so we can enter in a line versus like, here's a person.
Yeah.
And there's a person. And the person's really close. And so it's
much
more
thought went into this. Yeah. And
yes.
you guys practice that?
Yes. And
Wow.
we practice lining up because it is, I mean, there is only so much space and there's 6 of us submissives that are serving. So, and then there's the major domo submissive that's in charge of us to make sure we're all like where we're supposed to be. Yeah. Or if we have any problems during the event, or if I needed to go to the bathroom or something, they could take over so that my D type never went without service.
Gotcha.
But then I also could take a break if I needed to, because that's hours long.
Yeah.
So
Did you take breaks?
I did not have to, actually. Again, that kind of goes back to my youthful training.
Yeah.
I was just really focused on what I was doing, and I ended up not needing a break. Most of that we tried to plan as well between the courses, so when we would all leave the room anyway to go get the next course, either the main course or dessert or whatever it may be, run to the bathroom really quick while we're like setting that up, and then we get back in line and serve. So like you're able, you kind of had moments to do that type of stuff. It was just more or less like, I feel very overwhelmed. This is really a lot. I need to go sit down somewhere else for a minute, because you are being ignored to a degree. Mm-hmm. You are just standing there and serving, and you're just there because they need something. And that's okay. That's great for me, because like I can shut my brain off. I can just focus on what's happening, what's going on. I can look at, which was really hard. The eye contact part is difficult. Mainly because, especially if you're talking to me, it's a natural to want to make that eye contact. So trying to avoid that.
Even when the D types are talking to you, you avoid it? Okay.
Yes. Because that was my understanding. Maybe that wasn't the rule, but like I was under the understanding that there was no eye contact period. So you did not get eye contact from me. I watched your lips. Is what I did instead.
Yeah. So you said that you were able to like turn your brain off during it. I was going to ask you, what are you thinking, or how does it feel being in that sort of space for a while? Like, do you get in a subspace?
But I have ADHD, and so I make 1,000,004 choices in the day anyway, just because I have to manually make all the choices. So being able to go through an event that I know exactly what you want, like to the level that you want it. I don't even have to decide how much ice you want in your cup. I already know. Mm-hmm. I follow the rules. I follow the recipe. I follow the steps. It's great. It's amazing. I can just exist for a moment. And I exist in a way that I'm not alone with my thoughts, because I do have tasks to do. So like, it gives me
a focus.
Yeah, a focus, but a peace.
Yeah, interesting.
Like, it's very nice. I don't know that everyone experienced that, but that's my experience.
The way you describe that's very similar to what I've heard many submissives talk about, like in a session or in a femdom experience. Very similar, where they can turn off they're still thinking, of course, right, because they're serving, but they don't have to make the decisions, I guess. And that's the appeal to a lot of them.
For me, I really want to eventually do like a private high protocol event where it's just a true, like a tea service vibe, where it's just one-on-one and just as detailed as I can. I mean, I'm talking about where the handle goes on the cup when I place it on the saucer and serve it to you. Like the temperature of the water, how long precisely I stew the tea, that would take time. Like that wouldn't be something that you could just, we're going to do this on, Wednesday. Okay, well, hold on. Like, that would take...
You're thinking of doing this as like a group, or just you doing that for someone?
Like me doing it for someone. I think that would be really nice to do as a private, just a one-on-one. Because I couldn't imagine doing that as a group. That would be, the more people you add, the more problems you're going to have. I don't care how well you plan. I've done enough events in my life. Something's going to go wrong. I don't know what it is. Something is not going to go right.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to make a moment. You're going to have to make a plan and an adjustment and swerve left. And that's okay. Yeah. And I think that's what helped me too going into it. I was nervous in the sense of making a mistake. I wasn't nervous in the sense of what happens if something goes wrong. I wasn't worried about that part. We can adapt, we can change things. I know something's going to go wrong. I just don't know what it is yet. We'll find it when that bridge shows up.
Yeah. But so you have the confidence to be able to deal with whatever situation arises when it arises. Yeah.
And as much as we went through the planning and the figuring it out and walking through with Miss Christine, and
do you guys have to perform at that high protocol event?
We did not. Okay. The performance was keeping it together.
Yeah.
that was the performance. So
Awesome. So then when you go there, you prepare, you
Mhm.
practice,
Right.
you know exactly what you need to do, and then have the confidence to readjust accordingly. And then you're serving,
Mhm.
which, how does that feel? I know you talked about the headspace. Is there anything else that?
It was actually really nice. I think for me in particular, serving Miss Christine, because to your point, high protocol does delight her.
Mhm.
Um, it is definitely a joy and a favorite of hers. So I got that extra boost from knowing that it was something she like extra enjoys. Not just I enjoy this. This is a nice evening. It's like
Mhm.
no, I like this.
She loves that.
So
Yeah.
it's and also always look for opportunities to delight or to do extra. It's just something I like to do because that's acts of service or love language. That's just how I show that I care about my friends. It's just how it works. Miss Christine also is very expressive of her delight, so it makes it extra fun to,
Yes.
as much as everyone talks about D types and everyone loves a good reactive bottom, I need you to know secretly, us submissives extra love a D type with reactions. We are going for your reaction too. Yes.
Yeah,
That
I
little
love
smirk
that.
that you do, or that little giggle, or that little, like, the way your eyes light up when we do that one little thing. Yes, we want that. That's important.
I
We're
love
looking
it.
for that.
Awesome. Yeah.
It goes both ways. We understand why you want a reaction.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I'm looking for in the evening too. It's just those little moments. If it's presentable, if it comes up, um, they're just little things like I know she's going to want to save her leftovers.
Was there any aftercare, or what do you think aftercare was necessary?
Yes, aftercare is definitely necessary. So, it's something that the D types I don't think always consider because and not that they don't consider aftercare, but for specifically for high protocol.
Yeah, it's not something
Uh,
I would have considered, honestly.
And it's because you are in a headspace and you're in a very like, I'm not talking unless I'm being spoken to, but I'm in a group that's conversing. You know what I mean? So it's like, I needed the aftercare to be introduced back into the space, like
Huh.
for me to start having this because I had put a wall there. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not talking to you because I'm not supposed to,
Yeah.
and so it kind of gives that space to like, and for you to relax. I just stood for 6 hours. Can I like sit down, please? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, and to reconnect with your D type as well. Cause yes, you're very connected because you're very focused on, I'm focused on what you need all night.
But it's not a reciprocated energy.
Exactly. And it's also some of that is I'm focusing on your human needs, not necessarily your emotional needs in a high protocol event. Because I'm
Mm.
caring for what is your drink like? Do you need salt and pepper? Do you need something from downstairs? Do you need something from across the room? Did you drop your napkin? I don't know. Whatever it is, it's all like that type of stuff. I'm not caring for you as a person, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, interesting.
um, I mean, there are personal touches to that, right? But as a whole, it's very defined roles. You're here, I'm here.
Yeah.
So it just kind of gives you that moment to come back and be together. In which I'm not a dedicated submissive of Miss Christine, so it was just for the event, but I needed that, which I wasn't expecting how much I was going to need that,
Really?
but I definitely needed that to be able to reconnect with the room and start having conversations again, which it was nice because we ended the official house rule protocol. So it was just back to whatever, if you had something with your D type, if you have a dynamic with them or whatnot, anything that y'all have personally would go back into place or whatever you had discussed with them. But basically, the event protocols were over. And then we each kind of broke off into our pairs and groups to like actually have aftercare to in each person, however that looks. Mostly cuddles. it's
Yeah.
typically
Yeah.
it's typically the vibe. And so it was just nice to have that moment and reconnect. And I had played with Miss Christine's hair, so I could just kind of have that like a physical reconnect,
Yeah.
like to bring me back into the room and with everyone. And then it was nice, and we all just kind of hung out together and talked and chatted, and and that's when also during aftercare is when Miss Christine let me know about she did not have any noted mistakes. So I'm like, oh, look at me. I think for me, what was really nice is remembering how to, as much as I needed the aftercare to reconnect to the room, I had a very distinct moment to click the headspace fully to disconnect from the room, if that makes sense.
In the
And
beginning?
yes.
Okay, yeah. Tell me about that.
And so we had, there was a bit of a snafu of when the caterer was delivered, traffic, Nashville, right? So it was a little bit of the greeting of the D types and how we were doing all of that kind of got a little disrupted. So there was a bunch of us hiding on the sofa trying to look normal while we were sitting in very little clothing
So
while
it was a non-kinky caterer
yes,
too. Oh,
yes,
wow.
so
Okay.
we're all trying to act
Wow.
normal while sitting in not a lot of clothes. But it wasn't, we're sitting on the sofa in a way, like they couldn't see us and, but it was just a matter of like, I couldn't get up and walk around. Like that wasn't
Yeah.
okay while they were there. That wasn't, they didn't agree to that. They're just
Yeah.
delivering food. Like,
Yeah. What were you
and
wearing?
I was wearing a piece of lingerie. It wasn't super like I mean I was covered, but not
Yeah.
for
Not for
not
a random
really.
caterer.
Yes. Like
That's wild.
so
Okay. Yeah.
you couldn't see anything, but you could see things. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
uh but and there was a couple because again it was based off of your D type, so there
Hmm.
was somebody in a full on lingerie set, which was really funny because they were trying to hide where they were trying to hide. We were like, no, you have to outside. Outside, you have to go outside. They're going right where you're going. Like, in like literally 2 seconds, they had stepped outside, like right as the caterer was entering the kitchen.
Wow.
I
Y'all
was,
are sweating
I was
and
like,
freaking out.
I'm sweating for you. Like, like I was having a problem across the room. Like, but so we're kind of having this type of energy happening in the beginning, which is not conducive for me to now stand and be quiet.
Yeah.
So,
How did you make that switch then?
so we kind of had a moment of where we all kind of breathed and then redid the greeting, but it was a little different for me because I had already greeted my D type since they
She was,
live there.
yeah. Yeah.
um,
So some of the D types were already there, or they were arriving when that happened with the caterer that interrupted it.
they
Okay.
were arriving. Yes, some of the
Okay.
D types were arriving. Now, by the time the caterers left, everybody was there. So we
Okay.
kind of did a regroup in the foyer area and kind of
Start over. Do
yes,
over.
and
Yeah.
doing the whole, everyone adding their mask and because it was a masked event and,
Yeah.
everyone putting their mask on and doing any collars that anyone that has that. Um, and then we immediately went to where the D types are mingling and us S types have one of two jobs. We're either bottle service where we're making sure whoever needs drink is topped off, or you're doing hors d'oeuvres and I happen to be doing a bottle and I'm sitting there and I look over and I'm like in the most inopportune place to actually serve Derek. But I'm in the best place to see that his glass is empty. So I knowing the layout of so I didn't make a bigger scene to try to get to him. I ended up coming around from the backside of him basically. But he had seen me leave from where I was standing and he knew that's what I was doing. So like when I came around, he didn't greet me, turn to look at me, anything like that. He just stuck his glass out for me to fill because why else would I approach him? Like,
Yeah.
like and I
Yeah.
know that wasn't like necessarily like he was just me, but it
Right.
was just and that just moment it just really solidified it and like I was already going there, but that moment like cuz of course why else would I approach him other than to serve him?
So
Like
that right there put you
yeah,
in the
yeah,
headspace.
that
Oh,
was like
interesting.
that
Yeah.
moment that really snapped it in. Like
Yeah. Cool.
cuz and I don't know, it was really and it's just a moment, not planned, not
Yeah.
of any shape form or fashion, just a simple he saw me at because I think too it was really the approach because I approached him from behind and he did it so it was just truly a true like didn't even look at me. Just knew, like, like it was
what you're here for.
Because of course you're here to fill my glass. Why else would you come here? Like, like it just, yeah. And it just really sunk that spot and helped me really get in that groove. So, because for me, service is fun anyway. I enjoy doing that. I've done a couple of service submission vibes of like scenes and just things that I do for friends. Like I have a friend that I assist them with rhinestoning. I'm their rhinestone slut. That's my thing. So I rhinestone their burlesque stuff. So
cool. That's cool.
And so it's just stuff like that, and I just enjoy it. And you were asking too about special moments of the evening. There were a couple of moments, and this was actually that I enjoyed very much was because I was standing a smidge back out of her line of sight for obvious reasons, so I didn't disturb her. She did lose sight of me a couple of times. And of course, I'm not looking at eyes or anything like that, but I could tell from her body language, she's like doing that, like,
yeah.
And that, like, when she would see that I was standing right where I was and attentive and looking towards the table, I could tell from her body language how excited she got. Like, how she was like, oh, that's where she is. Like, like, that was a nice moment too. There was a couple of moments like that. And so it was, that did help me still feel connected to her without, because like I was saying, there is a boundary. It is, I'm here, you're there.
This is your place.
Right.
Yes, yeah.
But it kind of helped hold that, that personal connection, the friendship there that's goes on in daily life. Right.
Yeah.
It brought the joy to it as well. That's what I was looking for. Not just that like peace and comfort that I would get from high protocol from even a stranger, but that like true happiness and filling my cup because I'm doing something that is also filling her cup. So like it's a twofer for me. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
So
you got that true submissive heart right there.
Yeah, I do. I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. That's very fascinating to hear it from your perspective. I hope all my listeners have enjoyed listening to the stories about high protocol and what it's like from a submissive standpoint. Thank you for joining me this week on Into the Dungeon. If you have any questions, comments, or show ideas, I'm open to them. You may email me at thewildcreatrix@gmail.com, or you can find my information and offerings at www.kat-nash.com. That's KAT-NASH.com. Thank you for joining me this week, and as always, stinking key, my pets.